All right, hello everyone, and now welcome to a 2v2 matchup. KraV and Starbuck going up against Bizzare and Toxi. We have KraV spawning as the random orc. He did choose random, got orc, and, well, Starbuck also getting random orc. So it is dual orc going up against Bizzare, and who spawned as the red orc, and then finally Toxi, who has spawned under the name Nemo as the red human. Now, Nemo opening things up with that Altar of Kings Rifleman build, that unkillable army, so to speak, trying to use Devotion Aura, Holy Light, and just a little bit of dancing. Could be really strong with Bizzare. Bizzare looks like he's going for Blade Master, even though I would have expected Farsi or Grunts. You generally want a tankier unit in that front line if you do have a 2v2 strategy. If I was to be, well, in the discussion for Starbuck and KraV, because they did not know what races they were gonna get, they didn't have a strategy going into the fight. Perhaps they had to make a couple of audibles. We are looking at a barracks now being placed down. There is a Voodoo Lounge here. There is a Blade Master, so dual Blade Masters. No Farseer, so is this going to be the... Oh, there's Farseer, but Farseer fast tech to tier 2? Could be the case here. Bizzare, perhaps waiting to get just enough gold in order, and excuse me, enough lumber to get to tier 2 and then venture forth. This peon is going to scout out the Farseer here, and he's actually going to be, well, in a tough spot. He's going to suddenly realize that he has the close spawns, and that may not be what he was hoping for. There's that paladin, there's that rifleman getting trained up, right? Lumber issues galore for this early paladin rifle build. It does tax you a little bit more than you would think, as the tech to tier 2 has now been started alongside an orc burrow and a war mill. All right, is the Farseer going to try and engage here? There's a Blade Master running around. Farseer says, you know what? I do not want to get harassed. So, I do not want to get harassed, so I'm going to come back around. I don't think it's the same Starbuck from the StarCraft 1. Starbuck's been a fairly semi-pro WarCraft 3 player for a very, very long time. But someone else will have to answer as we're looking at a couple of peons now. Well, getting cleaned up. Perhaps going to try to jump on in. We're going to be playing whack-a-mole or musical chairs in the orc burrow to try and protect the hit points of those peons right there. Meanwhile, Blade Master going after some of the key spots here. Does pick up a Ring of Protection +4. Did he go after this shop? Yeah, he's picking off the unit that actually drops items. So the Null Brute here does drop item. He's going to pick up, did he pick up the right one? I'm not sure if he did. Blade Master comes back around. He's going to try and get another kill there. In comes some Militia Paladin, going to be lower on some experience. There's a Dust of Appearance. Blade Master was not nearby. Oh, that's going to be a very big news indeed. Blade Master finally says, there's my item, picks it up, and now trying to get away. That Blade Master down to 95 hit points, and Nemo perhaps very upset with himself, thinking I used the Dust of Appearance to check and make sure that the Blade Master was not nearby, and he still ends up getting the last hit and gaining the experience. All right, a little bit of damage here. KraV's fighting back against Bizzare's peons here. We're looking at the Farseer continuing to try and clear up some of these peons. Is he going to get a kill there? No, does not. Another low hit point peon able to hide inside. Meanwhile, Paladin on the move, going to be going after these Null Brutes again. Picks up a Tome of Agility as the Paladin does get to level 2. All right, level 2 should mean Devotion Aura. I would think we are going... No, Headhunters. All right, so we're going into a massive ranged army here. And since he's going up against dual orc, this may actually work. All right, Starbuck actually very afraid, going triple watchtowers. I don't think I've seen triple watchtowers come from at this tier of play in quite some time. We are getting those reinforced defenses. So what is Starbuck really hoping to do here? He's He's still sitting on one base, and where is all of his gold? Is he funneling it to his partner? That could be a potential strategy, as we're looking at the Blade Master here, continuing to go after all of these big creep camps, or at least the creep camps that are providing items. All right, we could be looking at, well, a back away. Are we going to see more clearing out? Blade Master going to go ahead and Windwalk, use a healing salve, clarity potion, picks up the item, gets in another hit, and says, you know what? I don't have enough to stick around in this fight. Back off to the north here. Paladin does not have Devotion Aura, perhaps has Divine Shield at this point as a way to try and protect the Paladin. But oftentimes, well, you do have a Shadow Hunter. All right, so yeah, I really feel like he should have gone for Devotion Aura here. That way, all units take a little bit less damage, and you have a more effective Holy Light by reducing the incoming damage, and well, making it so that you don't have to use Holy Light nearly as often. All right, turning things back around. Are we going to see another Holy Light on that Rifleman? Nope, there's that Devotion Aura finally. He finally opted to use that there. And there's a quick Hex. There's a Holy Light again. And Starbuck is just going to be able to go, yeah, there you are. I'm going to finally take down that Rifleman since he is moving so slowly. All right, is this Hex or Holy Light? I can't really easily tell. Are we going to see some big heals as well, as we see another, well, Null getting picked off? It feels like KraV, or feels like Bizzare and Toxi are kind of just stuck on their side of the map. They don't have nearly as much map control and map presence. The Blade Masters have been able to run around, run amok, deal large amounts of damage, and cleared out some of those key points on the map to get some powerful items early on. Those powerful items early on do give an advantage until more powerful items later are unlocked at those higher tiers. But until then, well, Scroll of Speed, Rifleman moving at a pace that I've never seen before, as this Red Drake will get cleaned up. Oh, Blade Master may try and steal the item. It's going to get stolen. Does the Blade Master steal it? No, Paladin gets it, and it is Scourge Bone Chimes, not the item he was wanting. Are we going to get a Holy Light here? The Headhunter down to 177 hit points. There's a quick Hex there, continuing to poke apart. The Headhunter, however, backed himself into a corner. If he was actually closer to the Fountain of Health, he would have been able to stay alive. That was a little bit of a misstep right there, as the Paladin walks right into, or the Blade Master walks right into a group of the Paladin and that Blood Mage. All right, Shadow Hunter, Blade Master, there's another Rifleman getting cut off. Why aren't they going back to help? I'm not quite sure. Are we going to see any Holy Lights? No, we are not. We are going into a proxy workshop by Nemo. All right, or by Toxi. This proxy and workshop by Toxi should be able to open up large amounts of damage, especially in this fortified position. We are going into Shamans with Bloodlust by Starbuck to perhaps try and just get those Blade Masters to attack a little bit faster. Lusted Blade Masters Workshop now coming online here. We're going to be looking at Holy Light. Blood Mage should really be giving mana to the Paladin at this point. No reason not to. Are we going to see a Holy Light right there? Yes, we are. There goes the Voodoo Lounge. Shadow Hunter now sitting at level 2. Blade Master taking some damage back across here, as the, well, Blood Mage now the one turning into a pincushion. He doesn't want to be there either. We're going to be looking at some counter play, as Starbuck could be in trouble. Tauren Chieftain, third and final hero, could be going for Endurance or a first. And if he goes for Endurance or a plus Bloodlusted Shamans, that could be, well, some big damage. All right, the Mortar team should really be trying to attack ground right now. Instead of just simply attacking one single watchtower, we're going to be looking at some big damage from that, just because it is actually at fortified. And now there's a little bit of Bloodlust, as more mortar teams should get added in. All right, a second mortar team will make really short work of all of this here. Demolisher now also getting added in. So, well, Bizzare and Nemo really pushing off on this attack and had a really strong executing game plan. And now here we are into this engagement. All right, Raider's going to run into a little bit of trouble. Tauren Chieftain does get bloodlusted. no endurance aura first. There's Lightning Shield, gonna go for Stomp, and now puts his foot down. Are we going to see any purges going down here as this Demolisher actually gets caught between, well, a tree and a Blade Master? Blade Master, however, wind walking a little bit. There's a little bit of a purge. Are we going to see a Holy Light? Yes, we do. Siphon mana, trying to drain some mana out of that Blade Master. Both sides still fighting as, well, there's just so much range that retreating is not a very strong option. Blade Master is in trouble. Blade Master gets taken down. Level 3 now on the Paladin. And a level 3 Paladin is going to really be opening things up there. There's a gift-wrapped Grunt here off to the side. Headhunters saying thank you very much. That, well, Grunt has a lot more hit points because of that Spirit Link damage share. But, well, the Mortar teams are now going straight after the Fortress, which may not be the building you necessarily want to be going for. It just simply has too many hit points, but is the critical building. All right, so difficult to tell which one you should be going for here. More Mortar teams need to get added in. Double the Mortar teams, double that pressure. Ultra of Storm's going to be able to take down the Ultra, or Raider going to be able to take down that Ultra of Darkness, and now in comes the Tauren Chieftain as well. Third and final Orc hero coming in from the Bizzare team. Meanwhile, Toxi is now, well, pummeling with double barracks here as we are looking at KraV trying to clear out some additional creep camps. That one Shadow Hunter extremely low on hit points, has to be careful as the Fortress does end up falling. The Mortar team's pretty much going unchallenged. So much range damage, and KraV and Starbuck having no real way to get out of the situation, being forced to, well, Scroll of Town Portal in order to get away. All right, these towers do no longer need to be upgraded. Perhaps Mortar team's going to finish off the remainder of well, Starbuck's Spirit Lodge and War Mill here. As well, things are not looking good. And Nemo says, you know what, or Toxi says, you know what, this looks like a good place to set up a building. All right, army on the move off to the north here. KraV and Starbuck unsure of how to, well, approach this strategy. We see a couple of ensnares go down. Units are now going to go ahead and retreat back as the Berserkers are now online. 23 to 27 damage, very fast attack speed. We could see some purges go down onto some of these units. No, Scroll of Speed is simply fast enough, and there was a quick hex on that Raider to make sure that an ensnare did not complete. All right, meanwhile, human army now going to go ahead and join up with the fight here. More Mortar teams getting added. We're looking at 56 over 56 supply. A little bit uncomfortable in terms of supply count, as Starbuck's Blade Master only sitting at level 2 after all this time. But we do have KraV with Taurens out on the battlefield in that front line spot. All right, Blade Master is going to say thank you very much. I'm just going to finish off a couple of these peons here. You aren't back at home enough, and, well, all three peasants, get taken down easily. All right, a couple of Spirit Wolves scouting out the Blade Master with Tauren Chieftain, Shadow Hunter. Meanwhile, we're going to see the Rock Golems and all of these units getting cleaned up as well. Blood Mage gets to level 2. Tauren Chieftain still sitting at level 1. But there should be enough of an army here. Remember, it's currently 2 bases to 1 base, as, well, we are mining both by Toxi and Bizzare. Meanwhile, we are looking at Starbuck trying to clear out this red creep camp off on the corner. We're going to see Bizzare and Toxi going to try and clear out additional creep camps as well. But the main powerful creep at each of those creep camps have already been cleared out, really preventing the amount of items that can be picked up. All right, there's going to be a boulder toss onto the Blood Mage. We're going to see some easy damage. Another boulder toss here. Rifleman able to, well, get in some nice focus damage onto those Rock Golems. And now the Blood Mage perhaps should just banish himself. Constantly getting stunned. And it looks like this Granite Golem will get taken out. Meanwhile, this Blade Master, well, keeping track of where the Orc army is. Item drop on the Blade Master. It is going to be a stone token, being able to drop a Rock Golem for a small amount of time. All right, this Rock Golem is still here. One of the main creep camps left. Blood Mage could get to level 3 as the, well, yeah, could get to level 3 here. And what's going to happen to the Paladin? Or Paladin, if it gets to level 4, if we get a double level up, that would be a big deal. Another round of Devotion Aura may just, nope, right on the money pretty much. All right, so level 2 Devotion Aura, most likely. Level 2 Siphon Mana, most likely. But the armies now need to actually fight and work alongside each other. right? And what will happen if there isn't, well, a lot of tanky units in that front line? This is my question. Taurens with Pulverize do deal large amounts of damage to riflemen and also those headhunters, or these berserkers. Remember, the attack of a Tauren is still considered normal if they pulverize. So it's AoE normal damage if they can get into that front line spot. That is a very big if, though, as we're looking at, well, peons now making their way down to the south. 2 bases versus 1. We are now taking the tier 3 by Toxi. We are looking at 2-1 upgrades right now on those riflemen. Hope maybe trying to go for 2-2. The paladin did opt to go for devotion aura level 2. So now you see that +4. I think it was +2 a second ago. As we're looking at the Taurens with, well, Bloodlust, going to try to dive on it. Here we are, Tauren Chieftain going to go ahead and stomp. Invisibility Potion stomp. Going to go ahead and engage Tauren Chieftain, and also has a stone token as well. Both sides are fighting. Kotobi's trying to make their way over. Can they, well, devour of another Tauren? That is going to be the question, as we are looking at damage getting bursted down. Siphon mana. Blood Mage could be in trouble. Blood Mage is down to 154 hit points. He needs to back away. He gets a Holy Light just in time as they're still fighting their way through. All right. Meanwhile, in the back line, there's the peons. They're being brought over for Spirit Link, but there's no Spirit Link cast onto them, so not quite sure how this is all going down. Scroll of Town Portal gonna try and regroup right there, but the Blade Master able to find the Farseer and take him down. All right, KraV and Starbuck, no slackers, continuing to push apart here. The peons, do they have Spirit Link? No, they just have Endurance Aura. Why are they brought into this battle? They should have that Spirit Link to make focus fire that much more difficult, purging things down. And I think perhaps, well, Bizzare and Toxi, like I did, thought that this game was in the bag, not realizing that, well, KraV had such a large army. All right, Spirit Walkers getting resurrected with their resurrected as well. So that means that the Taurens can also get resurrected. If they get knocked down, they're just going to get back up again as a Kotobi gets cleaned up. All right, Orc Burrow is trying to get pushed back the other way. Siphon mana onto a Tauren Chieftain, trying to, well, perhaps give another stomp right there. There's a stomp, slowing down the damage a little bit. Perhaps going to be able to finish off another Tauren here. Griffins are now coming back over. Taurens are getting back up as well, as there is another stomp again, trying to finish off these units. All right, there goes the Shadow Hunter. Shadow Hunter getting cleaned up as well. Tauren Chieftain of Starbuck sitting at level 3. Is he going to be able to back away and clean things up, as we are looking at the Altar of Storms now getting cleaned out? Mountain King perhaps could get a Stormbolt onto a Tauren, perhaps try to finish things off. We're looking at a lot of, well, Ethereal Form is not what you want to be doing if you are, if there are Griffins in the air. That sudden shift to tier 3 by Nemo or by Toxi to get Griffins was an absolute brilliant tech swap just at the right moment. It looked like the Taurens were on a reckless path to just finish things out, but Starbuck now tried to bring in all of these peons. Great foresight by the human player Toxi in order to do that, well, to do that counterplay. All right. A little bit of poking back and forth, but this is actually going to cause a bit of separation. Is chasing the line of peons going to become the death of, well, a bunch of mortar teams and more important units? Yes, it looks like it is going to be that. Are we going to see some Siphon mana? Yes, we are. Troll Bat Riders trying to find some Griffins. They do find some Griffins there. There's a Holy Light as they're still looking to engage. Kotobi's trying to get, well, dying on something and unable to catch up to, well, finally gets a Koto, but then ends up getting, or a Tauren, but ends up getting bursted down and purged. Blade Master gets up to level 4. Troll Bat Riders are now joining in on the battle again. They're going to see, well, Troll Bat Rider should be going after those Griffins. Not quite sure why they're not doing exactly that. He's going to get taken out again. All right, Headhunters, this is just, the lines are just not clearly defined. Units are just engaging, coming out onto the battlefield. Siphon mana, removing mana from the Blade Master. As the Griffins are getting cleaned up, we're looking at a low hit point Tauren able to get away. More Griffins coming out onto the battlefield. We're looking at more Siphon mana, this time into the Paladin, as the Paladin trying to finish off another Tauren. Are they going to be able to do exactly that? Going to finish off Tauren? No, down to 82 hit points, down to 76, as Spirit Link, well, was preventing much of that finishing damage. Paladin looking to retreat back. There goes another purge, and it looks like, well, KraV was able to regroup just enough in time, and well, perhaps Toxi and Bizzare thought that their counterattack was going to be strong enough, but because they were out of position chasing peons, well, it exposed them and to additional damage. All right. Tauren trying to, well, take down these orc burrows off to the side. Army, Kodo Beast, well, rejoins only to continue to feed the experience of Starbuck and KraV. That's going to get cleaned up. Let's look at the supply count. 22 supply right now compared to 41 compared to 56 and 16. So yes, the orc still has a slight advantage as we're looking at the Griffins now trying to make their way over. All right, are we going to see a Stormbolt, a Purge, something to actually have a good trade? That's what needs to be done right now. Go after these units. Go after units that you can. Stormbolt onto the Tauren. There's another revival on another unit. The Spirit Walkers getting the resurrections on those Tauren have just been absolutely key. Militia at this stage in the game when there's 2-0 pulverizing Taurens just seems like a last-ditch effort to try and tip things in your favor. Tauren Chieftain going to try to make its way over, gets Stormbolted, gets drained mana or siphoned mana, and then now could be in some serious trouble. There was, I believe, a stomp right there as well. The Tauren Chieftain needs some stomping power as the Tauren Chieftain now trying to retreat back here. All right, what's happening? Paladin sitting at level 4. There's a Holy Light onto that Tauren Chieftain. Perhaps going to try to get back into that front line spot again. Troll Bat Rider still making their way out onto the battlefield. There's a sacrifice there, but remember, Devotion or a +4 armor does greatly reduce the amount of damage done there. Meanwhile, Pulverize Hex onto a Paladin. Paladin trying to retreat back. Griffin unable to stay alive as, well, they need to get under the cover of these orc burrows, perhaps for a little bit of additional damage. Both sides still fighting and engaging. Storm bolting on fleeing units could be key. Tauren Chieftain right there in that front line spot. Well, turns back around. Blood Mage sitting at level 3, siphon mana into the Paladin. Paladin then needs to heal up that other Tauren Chieftain as well. Kodo Beast off to the side. We're looking at 29 supply now for the Orc player, and, well, 40 supply for the human player, going up against 54 and 16 still. So just those handful of heroes by Starbuck. What, handful of heroes? 1, 2, no, is that 2, 3? And then one peon somewhere, perhaps. Well, that peon there, that's KraV's. This is KraV's. Is he going to try and build a gold mine? Does he have enough resources? Nope. All right. Once more, Orc Army hanging out at the Fountain of Health, being able to regenerate those hit points that were lost in battle and then come back out onto the battlefield. Healing is normally difficult for Orc players, as we've seen, but this Fountain of Health really making a drastic difference for this army to be able to just get back up again and re-engage. I don't believe I've seen Toxi or Bizzare really leverage that Fountain of Health nearly as much. And that may be the problem. Just not recognizing that there is a way to, well, recover hit points on your low hit point units. All right. More Griffins getting added in. There is another Griffin getting trained up. Are we going to go into engagement? Troll Bat Riders hanging off onto the side. Peons running for the hills. We see a Shadow Hunter back out here onto the battlefield. Well, Spirit Wolf trying to finish things off, but this is not looking good. You cannot lose this base as the Shadow Hunter quickly just going to get hexed and cleaned out here. Tries to buy a potion of healing. Tries to find a way to get out of there. Doesn't find a way. And now, well, is in some serious trouble. All right, Blade Master going to finish off some of these Orc burrows. Are we going to see some additional damage? Healing Wave still bouncing around Starbuck. Well, knowing that these little Orc burrows do have, well, nougat inside of them in the form of peons, and, well, that Tauren Chieftain only needs a little bit more experience in order to get to level 4. We could be looking at 4-4-4 onto that Tauren Chieftain here in just a moment. One more round of attacks should do it. There's level 4. The peon, yep, there's the engagement, and now well, Tauren going to be diving into the human base. Is this going to turn into a base race? That is the question. Troll Bat Rider's now making its way out. We're looking at additional mining here. KraV has bases and buildings all across the map. And remember, it's very difficult to go into a base race as a 2v2. Blade Master going to find a couple of easy peons on their exit interview. And, well, things are still not looking good. We're looking at 17 supply now and 53, so 70 overall compared to 56 and 16. So, well, KraV and Starbuck has taken the advantage back once again, even though they were down economically. Even though they were down economically. I did not foresee this at all. Talk about a lot of lead changes. I thought this game was one and done multiple times, only to see, well, a little bit of small missteps by Bizzare and Toxi, and KraV and Starbuck just capitalizing on them consistently. Great Hall about to get taken down here. So we are going to be looking at one mining base or 0 mining bases versus 0 mining bases fairly shortly. Griffin's going to try and engage. There's a purge down. Troll Bat Rider's going to dive in. One Griffin Rider already taken out. Spirit Link onto the Torrents. Both sides still fighting. There's a Hex onto that Torrent Chieftain right there. He wants to try and lay down a Stomp. There's that Stomp. Whereas we're still looking at a little bit of Holy Light banish onto the Griffin Riders. Staff of Sanctuary, perhaps to try and save some of those other units. Farseer trying to still retreat back around. There's another Stomp again. So just fighting in the air. All right, perhaps some healing wave or some big heals could make a big difference. There's a Chain Lightning bouncing around. There's that Holy Light, but that Holy Light should have been cast down while the, while that banish was still there. There's a little bit of Siphon Mana. Torrent Chieftain continuing. No, Hex onto the Blood Mage. Blood Mage may need to banish himself in order to stay alive. There's another banish onto a Griffin Rider to stay alive. There's a big hit point heal there again as the units are still looking to fall back. All right. Still trying to retreat back again and again. Griffin Rider, no, not Peter Griffin, other Griffin. Anyways, continuing to play its way through. Torrent Chieftain trying to push its way forward. We're looking at a little bit of purge damage, and now that Griffin Rider does get cleaned up. All right, Mountain King sitting at level 2. That could be a little bit of a problem. Nope, he's dead now. So that's a big problem. No longer having all of that, the Storm Bolts available. Griffin Rider still going after the Shadow Hunter. Shadow Hunter still being able to get in some heals. Perhaps we should be looking at burst damage onto the actual Torrents. Perhaps that would give level 5 to this Paladin, and then level 5 to the Paladin could turn back around. Oh, a little bit more damage needed. Are we going to see? Yes, there goes a Griffin. There goes a Spirit Walker. There's an Ensnare there as the units are now looking to retreat back. Troll Bat Rider looking to line things up. Purge onto a Griffin Rider. That's going to get taken out. Oh, the auto attack of the Purge actually removed the banish so that the follow-up attack could work. So, wow, I don't think I've ever seen that in a cast right there. Auto attack from a Blade Master to a Griffin who then got banished. You normally can't attack it, but the attack was on its way. The attack did 0 damage, but the Purge effect procced, thereby removing the banish. Let me know if you guys have seen anything like that. All right, dying to just Shadow Shaman attacks. Yeah, madness. All right, let's take a look at the final scores here. Total scores in order. KraV, KraV, Nemo, or Toxi, Starbuck, Bizzare. Yeah. Strong games throughout. Let me know what you guys thought about this game in the comments below.